Hello, I'm Mike May, and welcome to Conversations. And today we have with us Michelle, and I forgot your last name, even though you just told me a few minutes ago.
Puzzo.
Michelle Puzzo. And you work in a local Manchester organization, which is?
Your Community Cares.
Okay, and
but it's spelled U-R. So Your Community Cares is a nonprofit based in Manchester, Connecticut.
And what do they do, or what do you do?
We actually have we digitally connect people in every community. So what that means, I know it's a little confusing, it's community technology is what we've built. So we allow for anybody across the state of Connecticut to sign up on our website, yourcommunitycares.org. And once they sign up, if they need help, they can put out a request to get help from their local volunteers.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So then volunteers go to our website, yourcommunitycares.org, and they sign up to help in 4 different categories. They can help people with housework, they can be a companion, they can teach them technology around the house, they can help them with transportation, or they could help with yard work. So there's really a lot of different ways that volunteers can support people to be independent at home.
Now, is this geared toward any particular population, the people you're trying to work with?
Seniors and people that are physically disabled. So anyone over the age of 70 would qualify, and then anyone over the age of 18 that has a physical disability would qualify.
So over 70? Okay, I've got 4 more months, then I'll be calling you. Maybe not.
And anybody over the age of 18 with a physical disability. So if you were just in the hospital with a hip replacement and you were temporarily disabled in some way, you would qualify. So there is a lot of opportunity for people to get support from their neighbors, their volunteers in their town that can support them.
That was the thing, you just said volunteers. So what might this cost someone? So, I'm going to call this, but I can't afford this.
Okay, so when people sign up, we let them know if we have funding in their town or if we don't. If we don't, we ask for the $36 for the background check. So we do a background check on all of our participants to try to make this as safe as possible and make sure that we are keeping it affordable for people. So once they either donate the $36 and we do the background check, or we let them know we have funding in their town and they don't have to pay, and we do the background check.
Now, who is the background check being done on? The person calling or the person who's going to go?
All participants.
All participants. Okay.
So the volunteers, if they want to do transportation, they're also going to have a driving history background check, so we can make sure that they're a safe driver.
That'd be good.
Yeah. So, and we also check people on the sexual offender registry.
Yeah.
We're doing all kinds of things to make sure it's as safe as possible.
Okay. Now you said, you're in Manchester? So where else in Connecticut are you?
We have participants in about 150 towns across the state.
Really, 150?
So out of 169, we're almost there, but it's really trying to get the funding to make this happen. And so what we do is we apply for grants through community foundations to make this possible. We also go to municipalities to say, if you fund this, this will make your community more tight-knit. This will help improve the lives of seniors and people with disabilities. That is usually the inequity that is there in a lot of these communities. So it really does help to promote better community connections.
Okay. Now it's interesting because it'll be 2 years ago next week, my wife and I moved into senior housing, and we like it very much, and thankfully we're in reasonably good health. But we do have neighbors we see, although, there goes Mary's Aid, or I see someone's taking, Fred for a walk or something. So I think a lot of those are paid. In fact, I did that for a couple of years. I was a home health aide for people, and I would go and, take them to the drugstore or cook a meal, or as you say, conversation.
Yep, and that's exactly what people can request help with, all of household chores, things like that. There's just no personal care and there's no licensed work. So if they needed any personal care, they would have to hire a CNA or a PCA, somebody to come into the home. That's not something that volunteers do.
Now, what constitutes personal care?
That would anything like showering, bathing, dressing, activities of daily life. And my background is I'm a physical therapist, so I saw the needs from my patients, and that's really where this whole idea came from in 2019 when we started the organization.
Now, what's licensed care? Is it they can't do licensed?
So that would be like an electrician, a plumber,
okay,
all the trades
that kind of thing.
you have to hire people for.
Right,
so sometimes people say, well, if the person's coming over, can they fix my sink or can they fix my lights? And it's like, no, that's not us.
My transmission went out or something.
You've got to hire an actual licensed contractor for that.
Okay, so you don't go that far. Now, you say this started in 2019, so this is fairly new.
Yeah, next year will be our 5 years. We'll be hitting a big monumental anniversary. Really excited for our 5th year next year.
Now, how long have you been involved with your community care?
I'm the co-founder of the organization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so during 2019, my grandmother lived to be 99, and I saw personally what it took to take care of somebody that had dementia and had macular degeneration, and realized we have a huge family, but I know so many of my patients don't have that family support, and recognize personally and professionally, how could I help? And that's really where in 2019 I was, frustrated that many of my patients did not qualify for state programs. They might have made $10 over. And they couldn't, qualify. So I realized, what if I created our own connections, our own way to connect people? And that's where we built this community technology in 2019.
Now, how did you go about building? You woke up one day and said, I've got to do something. How did you start?
We found a web developer that was able to actually do the coding. I'm not a coder, but that was able to actually do the coding and created the website, because it's an intricate website. Because if you think of being a statewide organization or a national organization, everybody's connected by their zip code. So if you live in Bolton, you're going to be matched with other Bolton residents or anyone within 15 miles of your house. So you could be on the Manchester line, you could be on the Hebron line. So we took into account a lot of factors to be able to make sure that the website does all the work. So it's automated. You put in the request, it automatically goes to that volunteer's account, and they can see in real time what the requests are out there.
So by website, so if somebody lives in like Bolton or Vernon, we can match them up with her. Okay, this is good. We've got to take a short break, but we'll be right back. We'll continue with this. We'll be right back.
At Community Voice Channel, you learn television production with hands-on experience. Our programming comes from volunteers just like you. For more information on how to volunteer, call 860-645-1454 or visit www.cvcct.org. Don't just watch TV, make it.
Okay, welcome back to Conversations. We're here with Michelle Puzzo of Your Community Cares, a local, actually statewide though we found out, organization. Now, what do you do with it?
So at the same time as being a physical therapist in 2019, I continued to kind of run this organization and be a physical therapist. And then in last summer, we had enough funding to create this executive director role. And so now I'm the executive director of Your Community Cares, and I no longer am practicing physical therapy.
So you're able to oversee things full time.
Right.
Well, that certainly seems good to have somebody minding the store.
Yes, absolutely. So needed, because we have had such growth of the organization since 2019.
Now, why is that?
I think we were in the right place at the right time. we launched our website about 6 months prior to COVID. And then during that period of time when people were home and they realized they needed to give back to their community, volunteering actually was more popular. So we were able to gain a lot of traction with people during that COVID period. Of
So
people
COVID
wanting
did
to
something
sign
good
up.
for somebody.
Yeah, for community connections. I think if you look at every commercial, it says community in it in some way during that time of trying to support one another. And now today, we've grown to have about 700 volunteers across
Really?
the state.
That's wonderful.
And we have about 800 members, so people that are needing help
Okay.
across the state. So that's a lot of people that we're managing, because not everybody is tech savvy,
Right, right.
you know? So not everybody runs their own account. So we run accounts for people that don't have the TV, don't have the internet at home.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they don't have a smartphone or a
Yeah.
computer, so we run their accounts for them.
Okay, well, that's good. I remember, I think I had mentioned that I had done home health aid work for a while, like helping people, cooking and such. And sometimes I felt bad for people because one time I got a call from the agency. Hello, we've got a job for you maybe. I said, oh, what is it? Well, it's every weekend, Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 1 and 4 to 6. And I went, what? What is? Then I realized, oh, the person during the week has the weekend off and they need someone to come in and like cook dinner for someone. But I felt, but who are you going to get to like drive out somewhere for 2 hours and then go home and then come back for 2 hours? So I said, geez, I can't do that. But then I felt bad that someone was in that circumstance. Again, if someone were local or someone were nearby, that would have been good.
Yeah, and that's our goal, is this community technology to really let the seniors in the town of X sign up, and the volunteers can sign up all for free, and they can all help to support that demographic of people that is growing.
Yeah,
You know, with the people on fixed incomes, with inflation, it's just really difficult, and we're seeing more seniors being evicted and becoming homeless. And it's a huge problem, not just here in Connecticut, but nationwide, with the housing shortages, people raising the rent, and people on fixed income. It's really hard to be able to account for that.
Now, 2024 is coming up in a few weeks. So what do you see for, or what would you like to see for next year?
Well, we're really excited to announce that we will be opening a tech center and are an actual physical location. So we are partnering with the town of Manchester to be able to offer seniors and people with disabilities over the age of 18 to come into our tech center and help with this digital divide. So we're going to be training people on how to better use either the device they bring in or be in our tech lab and learn how to use the computers a little bit better.
So help people to get to all this stuff is available, but if you don't know which button to push.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. People have fear and anxiety of just not knowing how to properly use their device. And it affects all parts, because health is affected if you can't access your documents. If your banking is online now, your town documents are online. So it really will, I think, help people have that support to feel more comfortable and come back for more classes.
I have a picture, this is going back like 30 years, and my daughter was like 4 years old, and I had an Apple IIe. Remember that? Apple IIe. And there was a little program, you had to put it in, and you started it, and a letter would come up, and if you hit A, a teddy bear would wave, and then if you hit K, came up. So this is a way for like a 4-year-old to learn the keyboard. And so Anne loved this at 4. And one time my father came over, who was in his early 70s, and I said, oh, Anne, you want to show Grandpa the computer? Yeah. So she's sitting on his lap, and she like puts the Dixon click, and he's there. So we have this picture of her sitting on his lap, and she's getting it, and he's there. Oh wow! So it's the idea the 4-year-old is showing the 74-year-old how to run the computer.
Yeah, I mean, kids today, like my kids, they go to school with a tablet in their hand every
Yeah,
day. That's it. We're just in a totally different digital era, as we all know. So trying to get other folks that aren't as comfortable up to speed.
Right, right.
And the center will also be a place of companionship,
Oh, I see, yeah.
socialization.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you think of folks that are disabled over the age of 18, where can they go for free and socialize during
Yeah,
the day?
yeah, right.
There's really, this is kind of a demographic of people that are not considered.
Yeah, yeah, in
And-
the middle, yeah.
Oh, these were my patients. These were my
Oh, that's right, you're
patients
physical
that
there, right, yeah.
were stuck at home. And I
Yeah.
want to be able to have a place where I can have folks come out and socialize.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of considered a third place. I don't know if you've ever heard of the term third place, but if work and home are
Oh.
the other two places, and then you would have an opportunity to go somewhere, socialize, have companionship, sort of like, remember the TV show Friends,
Oh,
right? Their
Okay,
coffee shop
the coffee shop.
was their third place.
or the bar on Cheers. Right,
exactly.
okay,
So
right,
that's a
right.
third place. So our tech center will hopefully evoke that feeling of people wanting to come in, hang out, and learn something. And our programming is still being developed, but we're really excited to be able to also have a home office so we can build in staff. I'm the executive director, but we are working with Maturity Works, which is I don't know if you've ever heard of Maturity
I
Works.
haven't.
They're a federal program that allows us to train and work with, I have to be careful of some of the terminology, but they work loosely with us because they're training. They're building up their computer skills. They're building up, they've been out of the workforce for a while.
Okay, yeah,
And they
yeah.
need to get back to work. And I'm able to train them
Okay,
on how to use different software and build up their skills.
okay, good. All right, so this is, we'll continue. We've got to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. We're here with Michelle Puzzo. I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
And you had been talking about a third place for people who don't like caffeine or don't want to be alcoholics. This could be something else. They could go and learn something.
Yeah.
And you're working with another group called Maturity Works.
Yeah.
And how do you work with them?
So Maturity Works are people that are over the age of 55 that are
Oh.
getting back into the workforce,
Oh,
whether they were a
okay.
caregiver for a loved one, whether they had an illness, whatever the reason is, they were out of the workforce.
Okay, I see.
So what we do is, because we don't have a physical location, I run this all out of my home.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Because, we were 6 months prior to COVID.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
with the pandemic, just kept going.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we didn't have funding for a physical location. So
Oh,
we've been
okay.
pairing up with Maturity Works because their trainees were going prior to COVID all, to a location. But we were able to offer them remote training
Ah, okay, yeah, with COVID.
because I could train them over Zoom how to manage a lot of these different softwares.
Okay.
And I was willing to train them how to build up their skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just so proud of the work that these individuals are doing for us because I'm only one person
Mm-hmm.
managing not only the website, the marketing, the grants, the reports, all of the things that
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
make this organization go.
All the hats.
And these people are really dedicated to helping the organization grow. So it's been amazing to have Maturity Works, and now we're also working with the Bureau of Rehabilitation Services, and we can provide those internships to try to improve their digital skills for people that have been in need of that as well.
Well, speaking of improving digital skills, I had to leave my cell phone outside because it was making bad noises and you couldn't hear us. I go to Starbucks And I found if you get their website, you can get like a free refill. So I signed up for that. And when I went there this morning, I said, can you show me? I said, you just do this. And then I brought it back. What do I do? And I got a free coffee. So see, technology works. Free Starbucks. Uh-oh, can I say that? Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble. This is community television. Ignore that. That wasn't a commercial. That's just something I did.
But you just needed a little training.
Right.
And
yeah.
so maybe the next time you go, you're going to be independent. Maybe you might need to ask one more time or two more times. And then the goal is for you to be independent with it, right? Ordering your own overtime. And that's what we want to do, is we want to break down the barrier of people saying, I'm afraid, I'm not going to touch that tablet, to show me how to do this so I can get better at it. I want to talk to my daughter in California, but I don't know how to run the voice calls or something like that.
Right, yeah.
There's just so many opportunities where I'm not the best, I'm not a tech guru, but I think I have enough basic skills that we can create some classes. It'll be about 4-week classes that we'll be able to bring people in, do some pre-test, post-test, and some surveying, and make sure that they feel that it's been a benefit to them.
This is a side story, but talking about Steve Jobs was insane, but he was also a genius. And there's a story when they were coming up with the first, I forget the name of them, those fruit-colored computers. What were those called? The iMacs? What they were? So they were like this is going to be the next computer. And he was, what people thought, he was obsessing over the box. And people said, Steve, it's only the box. And he said, no, it isn't. People are scared of computers. Yeah. So he was very, very careful. But the computer had the handle on the top. So you open the box. Oh, there's the handle right there. Oh, I've already got it out. Now here's this thing. I plug this thing in, click. Oh, I plug this thing in. Oh, here's the on switch here. Ooh, the screen comes up, click here. Ooh, I'm doing it. So the box is important because, okay, we're taking one step here.
It's one step at a time.
Yeah.
And we want to meet people where they are, making sure that we're making it inclusive. But we also want a place that's fun. We're not getting enough laughs when you're at home alone. Is that fun? Not usually, unless you really want to be isolated. But this loneliness and isolation, it's going to be a place where people can have companionship, come in. If they want to play trivia, if they want to play with a Wii, video games, the tech center is going to be more tech games, all related around having some fun, whether it's karaoke, whether it's jukebox, playing music. We're really trying to plan for what would bring people out of their homes.
Right, okay.
And we have a lot of volunteers that want to go volunteer somewhere. And so we're hoping that people are going to want to volunteer at our center.
Right.
Retired
teach
teachers,
a class or something.
Retired principals, or anybody that wanted to come in and do a little bit of volunteering.
Teachers.
So you're welcome anytime. So that will be in 2024 when we're turning 5 next year, our anniversary year.
Okay, so 2 questions. So where would you like to be in a year? If you came back in a year, in the past year, what would you like to be in a year?
So what we haven't discussed is we're going to be relaunching our website. So we've been working with web developers. And remember, this is all pro bono work. We don't have funding to pay people. So we're working with, Maturity Works and BRS and website companies that believe in our mission, and they are dedicating their time and efforts. So Sisintelli is the name of the company, and they have been working on relaunching our website.
Okay.
So we will have that ready in 2024 to roll out our tech center. So we will train people on our new website, have a third place for people to come, and we'll actually have a physical location. So all of that will wrap up in 2024.
So by the end of 2024, you hope to have a physical location.
Yep.
And we've only got about 1 minute left. Where would you like to be in 5 years?
In 5 years, we'd like to spread our model of Connecticut into other states.
Oh, okay.
Because we know that, there's seniors in every community. So we're just trying to figure out how that model of Connecticut could then be grown to other states.
So you'll be able to say, well, this is what we did in Connecticut, this is how it works, and now we're going to go to Massachusetts,
Right.
and here's someone who can show you how to set it up.
Right.
Okay,
But
well,
sponsorships are the most important thing, so we have unrestricted funding to be able to start to hire some staff.
okay.
Because relying on volunteers all the time,
Right, yeah, right.
is limited.
Okay, well, in 4 months, I can either be a volunteer or sign up,
Right,
sign up for help.
right.
Okay, well,
Happy birthday.
yeah, well, not for a few more months, but yeah, it's coming up. Good grief. You wouldn't believe I'm 50. Okay,
No.
we won't go there. Yeah, yeah, well, good, don't. Okay, well, Michelle, well, thank you very much. This is a wonderful thing. And people, we're going to put the website underneath here, the address, and you can talk to Michelle or someday soon more full-time people. So thank you for your
Community cares.
your community care. So your community cares, Michelle, thank you. And thank you for joining us.
That was short.